My name is Rafael, you're watching Rock and Roll Garage, and today we're going to talk about 18 incredible bands that once were the Kiss opening act. But first, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave your comment below. Okay, let's start. The first one is Rush, and they were the opening act for Kiss back in 1975, when the band had Neil Peart, Alex Lifeson, and Geddy Lee. Incredible band. And they said many times they learned a lot from Kiss, from touring with them. It was their first big tour across the United States, and it was really important for them to learn a lot with Kiss. And they said this many times. Alex, Neil, and Geddy said this many times over the decades. And we moved to 1976. In 1976, I mean, 5 incredible bands opened it for Kiss. Really incredible ones, and it's just mind-blowing. And the first one is Tom Petty. Tom Petty opened it for Kiss in 1976. He's one of my favorite songwriters of all time, incredible artist. He opened it for Kiss in 1976. The next one, another really underrated band in my opinion, Uriah Heep. Really, they're not that big in the United States, but they're really big in Europe. I'm from Brazil and I really like them too. In 1976, they also opened it for Kiss, Uriah Heep. Another incredible act that opened it for Kiss in 1976, believe it or not, Bob Seager. Can you imagine Bob Seager as the opening act for Kiss? I mean, there were some really strange bills back in those days, really. I mean, Bob Seager opening for Kiss, but he did. And another incredible act that opened for Kiss in 1976 was Blue Oyster Cult. You know, Oyster Cult, it's more of a fit with Kiss, I would say. And they're really incredible. I think they're one of the most underrated bands of all time, too, in my opinion. I really like them. And the other incredible band that opened for Kiss in 1976 was Scorpions, the German band Scorpions. Another incredible band and another fantastic group that opened it for Kiss. At the time, they were not as big as they became later. They really became this huge group that they wrote a lot of ballads, and that made them even more successful by the late 70s and throughout the 80s and 90s. And in 1977, man, ACDC opened it for Kiss. And I mean, Gene Simmons said already that he discovered ACDC when they were playing in a bar one night in a club. And he was there in the United States. They were playing in a small club, and Gene happened to be there that night, and he was really impressed with them and invited them to be their opening act. And at the time, I mean, you had that classic first formation of the band: Angus Young, Malcolm Young, Phil Rudd, and Bon Scott on vocals, man. Just incredible. And the next one, also in 1977, then Eugen opened for Kiss. It was around that time that he had released his most famous album, so he was starting to become bigger and bigger. In 1977, another incredible act that opened for Kiss was Sammi Hager. Sammi Hager, who formerly was the former vocalist for Montrose, and he was starting to become a bigger solo act, but obviously he really became bigger really there in the early 80s, and then as part of Van Halen he even became a bigger star. And in 1979, Judith Priest opened for Kiss. I mean, Judith Priest still didn't have many incredible albums they released in the 80s, but they already had many great songs and many great albums. Their set was really good at the time, really heavy, and probably was an incredible show too. And it was the first band of the new wave of the British heavy metal that opened for Kiss, because Iron Maiden opened for Kiss in 1980. And it was when Iron Maiden still had Paul Di'Anno as the vocalist. They were promoting that first self-titled album, which was really good. I really think it's a great album. So that was probably really incredible, man, you know, to see Iron Maiden opening for Kiss. You know, really great night. Those people who, you know, any people who had the chance to see any of these bands opening for Kiss, they're extremely lucky. I mean, it's just incredible to think about that. See 2 great acts in one night in their prime or in the early days. It's just incredible. We moved to 1983. 1983, the future hard rock, glam rock, hair metal band, famous hair metal band, if you want to call it like that. Motley Crue opened for Kiss in 1983, and they had just released their debut album, right? Incredible album. I really like Motley Crue. I went to see them last year, and it was incredible. And they opened it for Kiss, another band that really, they were inspired by Kiss and many other groups, and probably was a really nice show for sure. And in 1984, Bon Jovi opened it for Kiss, and Bon Jovi was just starting, of course, still wasn't that big band that they became in the next years. And in 1987, probably the heaviest band that opened it for Kiss from this list, Entrax, the thrash metal band, which is part of the Big Four. And the interesting things about Entrax is that the drummer Charlie Benanti and the bassist Frank Bello, the Entrax was formed in New York City, and both of them are still huge Kiss fans. They even collect Kiss memorabilia, and when they were kids, they used to go to the studio where Kiss was recording at the time, or for the rehearsal, and they used to go and be there and ask for autographs, and they would talk to Gene Simmons and all these guys. And I mean, a few years later, there they are opening for Kiss. I mean, it's just mind-blowing that happened. It's just really cool. But they were not the biggest band to open for Kiss that year in 1987. Guns N' Roses opened for Kiss, and they had just released their groundbreaking debut album, Appetite for Destruction. And I mean, that album itself, it's one of the greatest debut albums of all times. I mean, you probably have like 5 classic songs there, you know. It's just incredible. And they opened it for Kiss in 1987. And we moved to 1996, and Allison Chains opened it for Kiss. Another incredible band, and they had Lemmy Staley on vocals, and they already had released all their classic albums, and you know, that was a really incredible show for sure. And still in 1996, Rage Against the Machine opened it for Kiss. Another incredible band, and I mean, the Rage Against the Machine live shows are just insane. Can you imagine? I mean, Kiss really had some balls to play after Rage Against the Machine. And the interesting thing is that Tom Morello, the guitarist of Rage Against the Machine, is a huge Kiss fan, and he really was a big fan since he was a kid, and he was lucky enough to be the one to induct Kiss into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in the past decade. They invited Tom Morello to induct them into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And the final one in the list, and there are so many more incredible acts, but we selected only these. In 1999, Ramstein opened for Kiss. And you know, if you know Ramstein, and they're a shock rock group, just like Alice Cooper, and but probably much more than that in terms of explicitity in their lyrics and live shows. And you know, they were already doing stuff before Kiss, the theatrical side of their shows. They were already doing that when they were open for Kiss. But if you look at their concerts nowadays, I mean, they're huge, they're massive, and they play in stadiums, and there are all sorts of incredible things happening besides them playing on stage. And they're obviously really influenced by Kiss and all these bands that bring a lot of things to the live shows. So these are really incredible bands that open it for Kiss. Believe it or not, they open it for Kiss. And thank you for watching. I hope you liked the video. Please subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a comment below, tell me what you think, and visit rockandrollgarage.com. Okay, thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.